Fox and Friends, their record on COVID and misinformation has not been great, but they're getting some positive headlines this morning after Steve Doocy implied that people should get vaccinated. Sounds good, but unfortunately that conversation also gave rise to this little ironic take from Brian Kilmeade.
99% of the people who are dying from COVID are unvaccinated.
That's their choice.
They don't want to die. So they are, the administration and the government is saying we need the mask mandate to protect the unvaccinated.
That's not their job. It's not their job to protect anybody.
Well,
So Francesca, I'm sure that you, as a person who has spent literally decades fighting against the American war machine and our bloated defense budget, like the idea that it's kind of like out of the purview of our government to protect people.
Oh, this entire exchange was nuts. I mean, I have to say, Brian Kilmeade, to his credit, is at least being consistent with some of the Deathwish propaganda that the Fox News network has been pushing on its viewers. They don't care about people living or dying. And they truly and sincerely believe it is not the news's job to inform people on how to prevent their own death, not even believe in the cause of their own death, really. In fact, do everything possible to make sure that they foment distrust and mistrust in the government, trying to protect them at all from this very, very real virus. But I guess I have to say, like earlier in that clip, Kilmeade's also like, I'm vaccinated, you're vaccinated, we're all vaccinated. Yeah. And I don't know if that was a first, but I had never heard any Fox News anchors say openly that they were vaccinated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. My gut says that Fox and Friends has. I believe that they have talked about it. I think that they have acknowledged that Trump is vaccinated. Now, that said, they have still been really bad and in a grifty way about misinformation, trying to have their vaccine and eat it too.
Yes.
By eating, I mean more people die, which is still better than others on Fox News who are not playing it both ways. They're playing it one way. They're maybe covering their ass a tiny bit in the way they attack the vaccine, but they have been attacked. As we talked about last week, they have done a couple hundred segments on vaccines or touching on vaccines in the past 2 weeks, and they have downplayed or undermined vaccination efforts in more than 60% of all of those segments. That's not acceptable. It's just not. This looks better by comparison because, I mean, even in that segment, you had Doocy saying, look, the people who are dying are not vaccinated. Thus, maybe you should get vaccinated. But then Brian Kilmeade immediately says, that's their right. I understand.
But to be fair, to Kilmeade, he's being consistent. This was the line that they had under Trump. And now that Biden is in office, most right-winger blowhards are like, oh, well, why aren't you taking care of us? And he is trying to take, Trump. I mean, Biden is taking the virus seriously. So I kind of am like, yeah, Brian, you're a crass POS who doesn't care about human life, but at least you're not politicizing it. You clearly still believe it's not on the government to help people and that they should, do what they want and not get vaccinated or get vaccinated. Problem is, he doesn't actually understand virus science in the fact that it's not like the way right wingers are like, you can be gay over there and I'll be gay, I'll be straight over here and we won't touch each other. In this case, which by the way, man, if gaydom actually goes aerosol, woo, it's gonna be a great world. But also, the right wingers are gonna go nuts. But I will say that, in this case, if you don't get vaccinated, you are impacting other people. You are part of a society. And your personal responsibility is other people's responsibility.
Yeah, and look, Brian Kilmeade tried to do a really bad metaphor where he was like, no, all of this is your right. You can risk yourself. And the example he gave was, if you want to go, I think he said base jumping or something like that. He's like, that sounds dangerous to me, but if you want to, you can. But again, base jumping isn't contagious. It's not like if you come near me 3 days later, why am I falling all of a sudden? That's not how it works. You have to make the individual choice. With a virus, you don't get that choice. And the fact that a grown man doesn't understand the difference between those two things this late is difficult to believe. And thus one has to believe that he does understand it, that he's trying to not get attacked.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.